Doing an oil change on this 2023 Honda CBR 1000RR. Already started, then I said, shit, I need to record this, I guess. But first thing I did, of course, I got it out here on somewhat level ground. On the concrete, I wouldn't recommend doing this in the grass or somewhere where it's unlevel. Need it to be level so when you put your oil in, you can see what you got. And it helps it to drain out. I went ahead and I bought these stands. I've never had these before. I've always just done the oil changes without the stands. I'd run it up on some wooden blocks and things like that, just kind of sketchy stuff. But when I bought this bike last year, I went ahead and bought these stands. If you don't have the stands, like I said, you can use, I've used like 2x6s, and I'll ride the bike up on some 2x6s and give me some room up underneath it to work. But if you have the stands, get it up on the stands. Once you've done that, on this particular bike, the oil pan and everything is on this side. So you've got this fairing that goes on here. I've already removed the bolts that are holding this on. They're right here. So there was one big one that went right here. And then there was a small one there, small one there, small one there, and a small one there. Of course, this all goes back behind this one. But once you have those removed, you also have a plastic push pin right here that goes on the very bottom back here. It looks like this, and it'll be back under here. The way these come out, they're a pain in the ass. But when it's in there, this bottom piece here will be pushed up flush with that little washer looking piece. And it won't come off until you take like a little bitty flathead screwdriver, or if you have these tools that I have here, which are the plastic trim removal tools for like the cars and things. You can use that stuff too. But basically, you just want to get something up underneath this little plastic piece here and pry this inner piece, this smaller circle, pry it down. Once it comes down, then you can get up underneath this piece that'll be flush in here. It'll be like this. Then you can pry that piece, Then you can pry that piece out, and this little piece will come out. And then when you put it back in, it just goes in and that pushes back up. But it's a pain in the butt to get out. So after you have that out, it still won't come off yet because you're gonna have these tabs. You'll have two tabs in the front, one tab in the rear. And as you can see, they're kind of like a little hook. So those go in this section here. They slide up here. There's little holes right down here. I don't know if you can see that shit. They slide in those little holes and then they slide back. So when you go to take this off, you have to take this panel and you push this panel forward, and then you bring it out. So that'll go in that way and slide. And when you take it out, you're gonna slide it forward and then pull it out. And once you have that fairing off, you'll see your oil filter here. You'll see your drain plug here. There's your oil pan. This fairing here doesn't need to come off. It's wiggly enough where you can get that filter off. Put your pan up under here like this and get it to all drain out. So we'll go ahead and take that bolt out here. And before we do that, I like to release any pressure by taking off the filler cap right here. Once you have that off, then you loosen that up. So let's go ahead and do that now. I couldn't finish everything last night. It was getting late. I was getting tired. So we're gonna finish this thing up today. Like I was saying yesterday, take this little cap off. This is where you fill the oil up at. Now there is an O-ring on here. Yesterday when I took this off, the O-ring stayed on the bike, didn't come off with this piece. Today it came off with it. Just make sure that O-ring is on there. And I'm gonna get a paper towel and I'm gonna clean this O-ring up a little bit. So I'll take a few paper towels, wipe this thing off, wrap it up in it, put it to the side. Don't throw that shit away though. All right. Now let's find the proper socket for this thing down here. Hopefully it's on here. Yes, there it is. Okay. So 12 millimeter. We got this 12 millimeter. We're going to come down here. We're going to take that 12 millimeter and then that bolt right there to the right, that bigger one, we're going to undo that bigger bolt and let the oil drain out of this thing. Attach this to our ratchet. Make sure that we're going the right way. We're going to make sure we put this thing on. We're pulling down, which is left, right. So let's pull down. Shouldn't be too hard to come off. These things are not supposed to be put on here with super strength. They shouldn't be torqued down too much. So it comes off pretty easy. And we'll just get that broken loose with the ratchet and then use our hand for the rest. And we just untwist this little bolt until we have oil come out. And there's our oil. I always look on the bottom of these oil drain plugs to see if I have any metal or anything funny on the end of it. There's nothing on this one. This bike has 4,800 miles, I believe. It's just under 5,000. I did the original oil change, like the book says, like the manual says, at 800, I believe is what it says. So I bought it brand new with a couple of miles on it. I changed the oil at 800 miles, and now I'm doing the 5,000 mile oil change. I looked it up last night to see if these bikes have an oil life reminder like most of the vehicles have. The Google AI says that they do. I checked my bike, turned it on, scrolled through the different options. I didn't see anything that tells you about the oil life, and I haven't had anything come up at all telling me a percentage of oil life left. So I'm going to say that they don't have that. One thing I forgot to do, because it's early in the morning and I guess I'm stupid, I should have ran this bike for about 10 minutes and let the oil get warm and it would come out better. But it's not that big a deal. I'm going to change this oil every 5,000 miles with some good oil, a good oil filter. So, you know, whatever. But that's how I should have done it, but nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. So I made a mistake there, but it's not the end of the world. It's still going to drain out pretty good. Another thing I should probably do is drop this front end with the way this pan sits, and maybe I'd get a little more oil to come out of there with it being angled to the front, but I'm not going to do that either. Just some food for thought. All right, so next we have this filter here. It's right here above where the oil pan is at. There's a little filter. Pretty easy to get to once you get the fairing off. I use the K&N brand. I don't know why. I just like it. I'm old. I remember in the 90s I used to, use the K&N air filters and all that crap, and that was cool. So I still like it. So I'm using K&N on this bike. Again, with this, when you go to take this off, turn it to the left, pull it towards you. These particular filters have a like a nut on the very end of it where you can use a wrench if you want to, because these filters are kind of small. I'm going to use my strap wrench just because I think it's easier than using that little nut on the end. So I take my strap wrench, and if you've never used one of these things are really, really cool because they're adjustable. So they come out like this. Like this, it'll just be a strap. The strap part goes down in this hole. It'll come out here. So you can use this for a lot of different things. And it is adjustable. The size is adjustable. So we're going to just kind of adjust this where we want it. In here. All right, so when you put this wrench on there, you'll notice these little grooved areas on this strap wrench. Put that away from the direction that you're going to be turning it in. So in this case, we're going to be pulling it towards us like this. So I'm going to put these little grooves away from me. And you'll know what I'm talking about when you put this thing on and you tighten it up and you go to use it. You can only really, you're going to be pushing that strap in this handle the way that you want to turn it. So if I had it turned this way, I'd be going up and I'd be tightening that filter. So I want to turn it the other way, like this. And I'm going to apply some pressure. Come on, hook. This thing is kind of sliding around on me, bastard. This thing's a little slippery, but a couple of tries, it got it. And these should not be that tight either. Once you get a half a turn or a turn with your wrench, it'll start to come off, and you just spin it with your hand. Keep spinning it, and you want to try to hold on to this thing. Don't just free spin it because it'll fall in that oil. If this thing falls in that oil, it's going to splash. So just keep a good grip on this as you're spinning it. You'll feel it kind of come off. Take it out. You could just throw this down in the oil, but this is a small filter. I don't want to do that because it's going to get covered in oil. It's not very oily right now because of the design of this. It doesn't sit down. It goes, I guess, horizontal this way, not vertical. So it doesn't get a bunch of oil on it like your vehicle, most vehicle oil filters do. So I'm just going to wrap that in a paper towel, set it to the side. We'll dispose of it properly in a little bit. Now that that's off, and we're dripping just a little bit, but I feel like it's probably good. There's not a whole lot of oil in this, so I don't let it sit here for a while like I do on my vehicles. We're going to go ahead and start cleaning this off. If you get any oil, in this case on my exhaust, wipe it off. If not, it won't cause you any issues. It'll just smoke as it burns off. It may concern you a little bit. So wipe that off a little bit. Grab our oil drain plug. I know a lot of people will buy the washers, these crush washers. They'll buy a pack of them, they'll replace them. I've never done that in my life. Never had an oil leak problem, none of that stuff. I may start doing it in the future just because it sounds like it's a good idea, but I've never done it. So if you don't have an extra one of these washers to replace it with, don't worry about it. I've never changed that out. And I've probably changed oil 1,000 times on 30 different vehicles probably. Never have I once done that. So no big deal. Put the drain plug back in, get our socket. We'll tighten this up. And again, you don't have to use gorilla strength on this. Just get it close. Get it close. What the hell am I talking about? Get it tight. Get it tight, give it a little bit of and that's it. So now we're gonna grab our new filter. Oh God. Where the hell is our new filter? Oh, it's over here beside me already. This is the filter I'm gonna use for this bike. Again, this is the 2023 Honda CBR 1000 RR. I'm using the KN-204-1 filter. I think I order these from Amazon. I get 3 or 4 at a time. Open it up. It's got this plastic on it. A lot of filters don't have this. I don't know why this one does. It just does. Don't put it on with this plastic. Of course. Dumbass, take the plastic off. So the plastic comes off. This already has some lubrication on that O-ring. I can see it. I can feel it. I'm going to add some more anyway. I've done that forever. I'm sure most people recommend that you do that when you have an oil filter for any vehicle. Take some of the oil. I've seen people use the old oil. That's probably fine too. This isn't really going in your engine. It's just on this gasket to lubricate it, help it seal good when you attach it. So I'm going to use a little bit of this good oil that I have. And I'm going to put it on that O-ring, just like that. Then I'm going to take a paper towel. I'm going to wipe down this area that we're going to be reinstalling this filter on. Just trying to get any gunk or junk or trash that might have gotten on here off. And we screw it on. Don't cross thread this, meaning don't install it at a weird angle. Lightly put it on there, let it catch. You don't need any force at all when you're putting this thing on. Let it catch. And once it catches, tighten it down. Only use your hand. I know some people are stronger than others, but don't use anything to tighten this except your hand. I mean, you can get on it with your hand a little bit, like that, but that's all you need. Don't over tighten that because it'll be a bitch to get off the next time. Once that's done, we're good. Now we have to fill our oil up. And I can't remember how many quarts this thing takes. I have it in a spreadsheet, and I'll probably show you all that one day, how I keep track of all this junk I do to my vehicles. But I'm gonna go ahead and pull my phone up here, get that spreadsheet, find out how many quarts of oil I need, and then I'll add some to it. So a quick look online and in my spreadsheet. In my spreadsheet, that first oil change I did, I documented using 2.9 quarts of oil with the filter for the oil change. Google said it needs 3.2, but then it also said that the owner's manual recommends you put 2.5 quarts and then start checking the oil level and add if you need to. So I'm assuming last time I did that at 2.5 and I ended up putting 2.9, which is why I have this little bitty amount of oil left here in this bottle that I used the last time. So I'm pretty much going to do the same thing I did the last time. I'll go ahead and start with 2.5, and see what I get. Because if I remember correctly, let me see here. This is our little oil dipstick right here. For some reason, I thought this had a sight glass on the side. Maybe another bike that I changed the oil on or some shit had a sight glass on the side. Might have been a 600 CBR or something. I have a terrible memory. But it has a dipstick. So we'll check it on that damn dipstick whenever we go to do it. The oil that we're using here, this is, oh shit, come here. This is the Pro Honda HP4S 10W30. So I'm using a Honda oil. This is the one I use. I don't race this bike. I don't track this bike. This is just a little fun bike that I drive to work during the warmer months. So getting crazy with the oil and the oil changes isn't what I need to do. I mean, I very rarely get this bike above 7,000 or 8,000 RPMs. It's pretty much just cruising around. I will go fast. I will go 160, 170 on it from time to time. But like I said, I don't abuse it at all. So now we have a couple of quarts of oil. Let's grab a damn funnel. Oh, geez. That's kind of goddamn crazy. It's kind of crazy how that goes in there. I don't really remember that from last time. So it's all fucking weird. Okay. So let's crack open a bottle of oil. Now that's what I was looking at. The way this filler is right here, it's kind of in a weird position. You got to put your funnel in and your damn funnel goes off to the side. Like you have to hold it up at a weird angle. So we're going to hold this up at that weird angle, I guess. And we're going to start pouring some of this in. We're going to let the oil flow. We'll just pour this in slowly. Again, before you add oil, make sure that you've got your drain plug and your oil filter secured. If not, all this shit's going to leak out. And as I'm adding this in here, I'll also glance down and check, make sure I don't have any leaks, even though I've got those two components secured in there. I don't want any trouble. So I check it for leaks kind of as I go. It shouldn't leak. Never had one leak. But there's always a first time for everything. We'll hold this up again. I'm having to hold this funnel up with my left hand and pour the oil with my right hand just because of this funky angle that it's on. So this will be quart number 2. We used 2.9 our last oil change. So I'm going to add at least another half quart to this to begin with before we even check. So let me grab one more bottle. Let's hold this up again and let's get about half to 3/4 of this bottle put in. That felt pretty good there. Pull the funnel out. I like to pull it out under a paper towel so it doesn't drip everywhere. And then set it up somewhere where that oil doesn't run out of the top. Now that we have a good bit of oil in there, pretty close to what it needs to be, we're going to check this old dipstick. So when you check the dipstick, this thing takes forever to unscrew too, it seems like. When you check this dipstick on any vehicle, you're going to pull this dipstick out, take a paper towel, wipe it clean, reinsert it. Come here. All right, so this is different. I don't remember seeing this the last time. Hopefully I did. Usually you want to fully seat your dipstick in the hole, like on your vehicle. This particular dipstick, I read it here. It says, do not screw at oil level check. It says it right there. So we're not going to screw this in. I would have screwed it in, like had it sitting down like it normally would at riding. But you don't screw it in when you check the oil here. You just stick it in. So we stick it in. We're not screwing it in. And then we're going to pull it out and look at it. It looks like it's full to me. I'll do it one more time. Every time I check oil using a dipstick, it always amazes me how like I get different readings and shit looks kind of funny. Now, I'm not even sure if you're supposed to check this with it being down on the stand, which would put it at an angle, or if you check it with it level like this. That's something I should check. Because when I stick it in again, it's at the full mark. And I would assume that because I only put, what did I put, about 2.5? Yeah, I put 2.5 quarts in, that I should have to add some more, because I did 2.9 last time. So I'm going to check that really quick. I'm going to grab my manual and see how you're supposed to check that oil. I would think you check it on with it being level like it is now, because that's how you're going to change the oil, I would assume, by setting it up like this, but maybe not. Let me check that. After a quick check, you are supposed to check the oil level with the bike being level, not on its side stand tilted over, which will probably give you a low reading if I had to guess, because the bike will be tilted over to the left, putting this higher up in the air, and I don't think you'll get an accurate reading that way. So you're supposed to do it like this, which we did. And maybe the fact that I did not start this bike up and get it warm, maybe all the oil didn't come out the way I wanted it to. Maybe that's why it seems to be fuller than it should be at the amount of oil that I put in. But it looks to be full to me. Slide it in, take it out. Yeah, I mean, we're full. And I don't know what's up with the side of these damn oil, this new oil. I'm looking at the side here to see the readings. One side is in milliliters, one side is in ounces. Damn Japanese shit. So I honestly don't even know really how much I put in there, because I don't remember the conversion for like ounces and quarts and all that shit. But I do know if this says 1 quart, which it does, and I put half of it in, yeah, because it says 1 quart is 32 ounces. I'm sitting now at 16 ounces. So we did put pretty much exactly 2.5 quarts in here, which is what the book states to do. Put 2.5 quarts, check it, add if you need it. I don't think we need to add anything. I just think the amount of oil that came out of here wasn't as much as it was that first time we changed oil and we added 2.9. So we're done. That's it. We're done with this exciting oil change. I will go ahead, before I put this filler plug back in, wipe that off there a little bit. Our filler plug's already wiped off. Hell, I'll do it again just for shits and giggles. Wipe it off, put it back on. And like I said, this bike that I know, as far as I know, doesn't have an oil life system, so there's nothing to reset on this. You're done. You just keep up with when you change it. Like I said, I'm going to change mine every 5,000 miles. So all that's left now really is putting the fairing back on. We're going to go over that as well. But before I do that, I feel like now's a good time, since I have that fairing off, to clean really good up under here, because there's a lot of gunk that gets under here that you can't get when you're regularly washing it. See if I can show you some on here. So that gunk there is all up in it. There's not much on the back side, but definitely this front side has a little bit on it. Same thing for under here. There'll be some gunk under there, probably mainly from the chain with this gunkiness. So while I have that off, I'm going to go ahead and wash that a little bit, clean that off. Then we'll get that fairing back on, and I'll show you, because I didn't show you how I took it off, I'll show you how I put it back on. Now that I have the bottom and the inside of the panel cleaned off, which I just used some, damn, there's something on my damn camera, some water. Hold on. All right, so now that I have the panels cleaned off, I just used some degreaser, some Purple Power, and a medium bristle brush, and I squirted that on it, because a lot of that stuff was like chain gunk, so it was very hard to come off with regular car wash soap and water. So I hit it with the degreaser first, washed it off. Then I used Mother's Carnauba washing wax. Used some of that to get all the gunk that was on the bottom of this off. Also on the back, there's some damn grass on there. Clean that off good there. And also under here, I cleaned, damn, I still got some soap in there, don't I? I still got soap in both of these holes. Let's hose that off, hang on. What the hell did I do? Let's hose that off. Now that I get all the soap off, we're gonna sit down here in the water and we're gonna put this shit back on. Let me get you on the tripod, hang on. Let me put you where you need to be if you want to see. Shit. Oh. Now that the oil change is done, now we got to put this panel back on, and this one too, which is attaching to this one. So first thing you want to do is you're going to have to slide these tabs There's a tab right here at the front. And then there's two tabs, or this is really the rear. There's a tab in the rear. There's two tabs in the front. And they slide in these holes right here. Let me show you. Yeah, there you go. You see that hole? There's a hole there, there's a hole there that these are going to go in. Let's see if I can get this where you can see it. And they got to go in there. You got to have this panel up a little bit and then they'll go in. But those will slide in there, and then this one in the back slides in the same type of little hole. You'll see it when you do it. So the first thing is slide these in. So I got the front two in. Working on getting the back one in. Now the back one's in, and everything slides towards the back of the bike. That locks everything in place. This front panel right here goes in front. Excuse me. It goes in back. Oh, fuck. And I've always thought that these things went in a little bit tricky. In the back here, you have a tab. Let's see if I can show you. There's a tab. Shit, I don't know if I can show you that tab. Maybe, yeah. So there's a tab here, or a hole, and there's a tab on the inside. You pinch that down, and you got to slide that into that tab. I can't do this with one hand, but I'm gonna slide that hole into that tab. Using both my hands, I hope. And that will just snap in. When you get it just right, it'll snap in. So now you got to use your knee. I mean, it feels like it snapped in, but this panel's not lined up good yet. All right, there we go. Okay, so that back piece is in. Okay. Now on the front, we have our tabs in. Same thing up here in the front. You have a tab up here in the front that has to go inside of a hole up here in the very front. Again, I'll need my hands to do this. So I'm going to pop that tab in. That one's easy to do. There's a series of tabs actually on this setup that lock this into place. Just go slow, be careful, don't break this plastic. This shit's, I mean, it bends pretty easy, but I'm sure you can also break it. But just get all of those little tabs, working your way up. Start getting it together. Get it all adjusted. Go slow. All right, now it's all lined up. Everything tab wise is put in, it's all lined up. It looks good. So the first thing I'm going to do I'm gonna start from the back. I'm gonna put this push pin in. So when you put this in, you just slide this in the hole. And then when that goes in the hole, you just push this bottom piece up to be flush with that washer looking piece. So I'm gonna do that now in this hole in the back. Slide it in, and then I'm gonna push the bottom up, and that opens up the end of that's inside the fairing, and it holds that together. Much easier to put in than it is to take off. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this big bolt in. It goes right back here. I've got an Allen key. These use Allen keys. I don't know what size these are. These are just some random Allen keys that I've got in a box, and I just pull them out. And a good rule of thumb with anything that you're tightening up bolts and stuff with is don't tighten them up all the way. Leave it loose so you can adjust everything else. Most of this should line up really good, but just in case. Now, I'm just going to keep working my way up to the front of the bike. Got another little bolt here. That'll go in there. I start it with my fingers. Then I grab the Allen key and start turning it. You shouldn't have to force these in. Don't cross thread them. If it starts getting tight at the very beginning, stop, take it out, try it again. It's not worth screwing up this hole and having to tap it and all that stuff and recoil it or rethread it. And I'm not tightening that one up either. I'm gonna leave it loose. We've got 3 more to go, which will be the 3 right here on this front section. 1, 2, 3. I'll start at the top. I'll put that one in with my finger as well. I'll grab the Allen key and I'll start tightening him up. Get him in there, leave him loose. Go down to the next hole. That one's not wanting to go in right for me. Down here and look at it. Once it starts, you can just spin it around with the Allen key, leave it loose, go down to the bottom, start him off with your finger. He'll go in there nice and loose, easy, and then get him tight with your Allen key. Now that all these are in, this last one, I'll go ahead and tighten it down. Don't over tighten. This is plastic. You ain't got to crank down on this. There's enough threads going in there. It'll hold. For some reason this Allen key isn't hooking like it should. Let's go to this one. Okay, here we go. Same way on the next one. Get it snug. There it is. Top one. Snug, there it is. Going backwards on the bike now, just going through and tightening up all of our little bolts. That one's snug, he's good. This big one back here on the back. I guess y'all can still see all this junk. This back one. Snug his ass up. Okay. That's all there is to putting that fairing back on. The hardest part, of course, is getting it started and getting it in there. The front's kind of tricky as well because it has multiple tabs that you have to line up. But like I said, start at the bottom, work your way up. Take your time. You'll get it. No worries. And that is the oil change on this bike here. Again, I don't know that there is a reset for the oil life on this bike, so there's nothing else to do. They do recommend that you run it for 15 or 20 minutes, let the bike cool down for 15 or 20 more minutes, and then check the oil again. I'll probably check it again sometime midweek to make sure I'm not low on oil. I would assume that there is an indicator on here if you have a problem with the oil pressure or the oil level. With it being too low, it'll probably tell you to stop riding the bike. But I think we're good. We put in what was recommended, and we have plenty of oil on our dipstick. So I would say this is a success. We saved a few bucks. We did it ourselves. We feel good. And that's it. And I'll be ready to ride this bastard tomorrow.